Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative, and today we're talking about the PS5 Pro, just like everybody else. But as you've seen in the title here, I believe, and if I was a betting man for this, that this is going to be Sony's flop. And there's going to be a few reasons for it, namely the price, but also I think it's because of what Nintendo is about to come out with here. So if you didn't hear, the PS5 Pro was announced for $699, which is $700, and then plus tax, let's see exactly how much that's going to be. I live in New York City, so tax is pretty high. $699 times 1.08875. That's going to be $762 here. This is an upgraded PS5. This is a system that does not have a physical disk drive. Now, I'm not somebody who is into PlayStation 5 or into Xbox. I have a Switch. I play sometimes Pokemon Go on my iPhone. I am not a gamer whatsoever, but this is one of those things where it's like almost guaranteed to go the way that I believe it will. So I thought, why not comment on this and kind of move forward? But again, if you trust other people to be a little bit more reputable because they play games and they're into this, please listen to them instead. So with this is a more powerful system, and I think it's going to be a little bit more focused on ray tracing. Ray tracing basically is something that takes a lot of the PS5's power. And when they first promoted the PlayStation 5, they were like, oh, it's going to have ray tracing. You're going to be able to play games with this, and it's going to kind of make it more of a standard so that other games and other platforms, maybe even PC and Xbox, will actually be able to consistently release titles with ray tracing. But if you know anything about playing games, you can turn down settings to either allow ray tracing to really work, but you cannot play a game at full resolution, at the highest frame rate, and with the ray tracing. It just does not work. So what people are thinking is, okay, maybe the PlayStation 5 is going to be that cover-all to get like the highest fidelity, the highest quality possible out of their game so that they can compete if it's a competitive game or just enjoy it if it's just a game. Now, for me, again, not playing on, I guess, we'll call them the traditional high-powered consoles, and really focusing on Switch, where it's more about the gameplay. And I'm not saying that these games by Nintendo, like Pokemon, are the best things out there, but I play it to enjoy the game. The Switch, I believe, when I'm looking at that screen, it's, what, 720p? If you play it on a TV, that's going to be 1080p. You're not getting this for the frame rate or for the quality in visuals, too. I even have to say, it looks kind of like crap. I would say playing a game on even an iPhone 15, now the 16, is going to be visually more appealing than it is going to be playing on a Switch. But then again, that also moves us into, we could be playing this game on our phone, whether it be an iPhone, a Samsung, a Pixel. Our phones and our smaller devices that are more powerful are getting more powerful, and it's great because they're portable. I really think that the Switch kind of like got us into that position where people understood to get things kind of on the go, you really need to have some sacrifices. You need to sacrifice that quality and those frame rates to kind of get something that you can go and move. And first that came out, then the Steam Deck came out, and of course when you're playing games on those devices, you're not getting the highest quality, the highest frame rate, anything, but you want it because it works on the go. I really think when the Switch 2 is finally announced, and I think maybe Nintendo was waiting for this kind of announcement from Sony to happen first, but although we're not getting the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called this year, it's going to be next year at some point. It's going to focus on maybe pushing things up to maybe a 1080p screen on the device itself, and maybe pushing things up to like 2K on a TV, because Nintendo knows how to make a fun game that kind of resonates with all ages. They're kind of like the general gameplay manufacturer, where again, Xbox and PlayStation, they're known for, you know, I would say, I guess you could say more visual quality and just like a better looking game in general. But this thing is $700. You can still get the, what is it? I was looking at the prices here. You can still get the PlayStation 5 with no disc drive for $450 or $500 with the drive. Again, a $700 I was about to say iPhone. PlayStation 5 Pro does not have a disc drive. And I've actually been, on my phone, all I do is purchase applications and games and buy them digitally. A lot of the time, I purchase on the Switch games digitally. I do have those, little cartridges. So, for instance, the games I really play all the time, I'm going to want them on a cartridge. But, that is so small and minuscule just because the size and files of those games are so much less than they will be for those other higher powered consoles that I think they will still be able to do it. I will be a little bit curious to see if the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called is going to move to more of like digital only. That could be it. Maybe that's just what it is. Everybody kind of has Wi-Fi. If you don't have Wi-Fi, it's just going to take a long time to download. But then once you've downloaded that and maybe a patch and some other updates, then you can you can use that game. And that also means you don't have to go to the store anymore. I find it kind of odd that video games, maybe not odd, there's obviously the reason because the game files are gigantic, but I find it kind of odd that the only physical remnants of discs and cartridges are with video games. And again, that is the size. But again, I can download things on my Switch. You can have your PlayStation 5 with no... even if you have the PlayStation 5 disc drive, you can still get those digital games. And I think everybody is moving towards that. I think that's just how things are happening. But whenever the new Switch is going to be released, how much is a Switch right now, the Switch OLED? I'm really curious about that, because I have the Switch OLED. Let's see, Switch OLED price. That's going to go for $350. Let's say they have a new Switch, and they're not going to call it the Switch OLED, but just kind of the Switch. That's going to be $400. That's going to be less than the PlayStation 5. That's going to be about half the price of the PlayStation 5 Pro. And here's like an offshoot thought. This is something I've been kind of like mulling in my head. You know how there's the Switch Lite? What I think they should do, and Nintendo's been kind of seen to do these things with like the Nintendo Advance Micro and these other consoles, the Anniversary Edition consoles like SNES and I think that they are going to release an original Switch, a much smaller digital-only Switch, which I would love. Imagine a Switch the size of a Game Boy Advanced or something of that, like a DS. That would be incredibly cool. I think that would be the perfect device to kind of fit in, because those devices, the Lite, I believe, costs $199. And with those kind of two devices, because whether or not they do this hypothetical one, they'll do some other kind of light version to get, dirt cheap to get you in there, to get you playing these games. You're going to see these item prices, and then you're going to see the PlayStation 5 Pro. People are not going to be getting that. People are already kind of strained as much as it is to get a PlayStation 5 or to get an Xbox current generation. It's not really going to go the way, because we've been so starved to have these kind of games, and I think Nintendo is finally going to do things right, and they're going to work with manufacturers, and they're going to have better quality games, more optimized for a smaller device, because it's been proven one time, and now it's time to put things into effect. Now it's time to put a little bit more money into current generation CPUs and GPUs, and I think it's just going to help all around. But in the end, that's going to hurt this future flop of a product of the PlayStation 5 Pro. But I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think. Do you think is it going to fall flat? At the time, well, actually, I remember, I think I was watching Austin Evans or some ordinary gamer. There will be 21 games for the PlayStation 5 Pro, not immediately launched when it's out. That means there'll be less than 21 games optimized for this, and games that you can only play on the PlayStation 5. That's ridiculous. It's like the GameCube all over again when they release with like 2 games. It's ridiculous. I don't see that working out. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think. Don't forget, guys, I'm on Instagram and Threads. You can at M8B9. You can email me at creativenyc2024@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I think something just flew in my eye. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next time.